Man, it's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been a minute. Oh man, it's been a lot going on, but a lot of good things, a lot of great things. But I am back. I am happy. I am grateful to continue. What's that say? Talk that barber shit. Got a special guest today. I've been planning this out, trying to get it back in order. Besides coming to you guys live with special guests, I've been doing my run. I've been a runner all my life. So it's been really awesome to enjoy something and try to put it out to the world and let them join in and be a part of it as well. A lot of people from other areas, other countries, been reaching out and saying that they love what I'm doing and they're running with me in their local areas. So, I created something that was, for the barbers out in my location, but it became something more. I created some t-shirts, created some hoodies. I got my barber hats and stuff like that. But Run LA was, truly something I've always been doing on my own, but I had to see if I can, have other barbers in my area come out. We run, keep our energy going. We always on our feet, we're always moving, but we don't really take the pride as much as we should into ourselves, making sure ourselves is healthy. I know there's other forms of ways to do it, eating correctly, going to the gym and all that, but a lot of people don't have time. We go to the gym early. We go to the work early, go to the establishment, set up and stuff, and then we be there all day, and then we come home and we eat crazy and we do it all over again. But we do need to take time out for ourselves, especially if we're not as young as we used to be. It's good to understand your body, the way it works, what you need to do, what you need to intake. So that's why I created Run LA. And then, we had a big fire going on out in, out in Los Angeles. So that put a hold on a lot of things that I had going on or what I was prepping to do. But I went back to it, went back to the original base. Now I got a special guest that I'm about to have join my live chat, the barber. And we're going to talk about everything that he has going on, his journey, which is the most important part of this whole thing. Talk Your Barbershit is all about explaining, the growth, the triumph, the midpoint, what we need to do, what we need to grasp as hairstylists, as barbers, makeup artists. It all goes hand in hand. We all are one unit. So whatever we can share to elevate the mindset of individuals that are coming into this business now, because you got social media that's showing the rise of the barber industry and showing how much you can make, and if you do this and do that you can make 100K or you can make more, but it's not really explaining the really growing pains. And it don't have to be in a negative way, but this understanding what you have to go through, what you have to build to get to these spotlights of what everybody's showing with the Lamborghinis and the Rolls Royces and all that stuff like that. And it's a beautiful thing if you can work hard to get there, but you got to understand the steps to get there. So enough about me. You already know me. You know what I do. You know what I create. So let's get it started. I will be sending you the link now so we can jump aboard and get it started. So hold on one sec, look for the alert, and join in. Sir.
Yo,
How you doing, man?
did good. Did that work?
Yeah, it worked. I'll see you clear. Can you see me? Can you hear me very clearly?
Yeah, no, you're good. Sorry, I was gonna shoot this in the shop with a better background, but it's like 13 degrees outside, so sitting in front of the fireplace is where I need to be right now.
I trust. I understand. It's not that cold out here, but I was going to be at the shop. and do the same thing. But a lot of other hairstylists came in. It was gonna probably be really loud because they like to
Oh,
play music and get the atmosphere going. So
yeah.
I came back home and got into my second room of, I call it my office, my domain. Where it's a little bit more calm. But yeah, man, I just want to say it's a privilege now to see you from the camera angle,
Yeah.
but face to
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want, we can just talk running shit for an hour because I'm a runner too. Like, we could just go out. I didn't know you were a runner, man. That's all. Like, there's nothing better when you're feeling down, your body's feeling like shit, your mind's like shit. You're like, yo, I'm just gonna go for a run. That's it. Like, I'm gonna put on my running shoes and just go. I don't have to drive to the gym. I barely got to put my shorts on. I don't even have to wear a shirt. I can just go, you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny when you meet other running people, it's like, I get like, don't you like to lift? Don't you like, nah, dude, I just run. Like, I just run this shit out. I don't feel good enough. I just run further. You know what I mean?
I get that a lot from my lady. She be cracking jokes. She was like, "When you gonna pick up some weights?" I love that you got this endurance where you can run for miles and miles and miles, but I need to feel some muscles. And I'm like, "Hey, it's go get there in due time. Just let me do what I do first, and I'll start picking up some weights and hitting some push-ups."
Yeah.
But yeah, since I was small, my dad played soccer.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, and then they got me into sports, and I played sports for a while. But now being older, um, it's cool to go to the gym environment and kind of be in there. But I don't know, it's something about just getting out, like you said, getting out there, just running the pavement, and it's feeling free, and it's feeling like this calmness over you because it's like you just out there by yourself, and you just
Yeah.
like you kind of like mentally talking to yourself because you like, okay, I think I could do another mile. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop where that stop sign. And then when you get to the stop sign, you're like, oh, I think I could have went a little bit, a little further. And then you find yourself doing like 5 to 6 to 8 miles.
I don't even get that far. I in my peak I could do 5, but like
Okay.
I don't even keep track of my distance. I don't wear a watch. Like I just
Yeah.
go. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And there's a freedom in that, you know. And it's no, it's awesome, man. But um, no, what I wanted to tell you before we get into any of my
Yeah.
bullshit is like you posted that story yesterday, the day before about like, yo, this is my journey, you know, talk, and then you did the whole thing on YouTube, like your whole story about like leaving your career, going back to barber school, getting hit with COVID in barber
Yeah.
school, like shit shut down. I'm in New York, so we are the same way. Like
Yeah.
COVID hit, it was over.
Yeah.
Um, I'm proud of you, bro, because I went back to school at 29 to be a barber and start my journey. And like hearing that you did that and you overcame COVID and you almost tried to like leave. Like I'm gonna go get a real job again.
Yeah.
Like this ain't gonna like I'm proud of you. And we don't do
Yeah.
enough of that in our industry. Like I think a lot of the flashiness is perpetuated and like there's not enough authenticity. But like, bro, I'm proud of you. And then I started seeing all the interviews you've done in the last years, and I'm like, dude, this dude's has everybody on here before they were anybody. Like, so I'm proud of you. Keep
Yeah.
doing your thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, man, it's awesome. I love that story that you posted. Just the rawness of it. Like, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I almost bailed.
It,
You
it,
know?
it's it was it was crazy whirlwind. Like a tornado just came out of nowhere. Like, to be honest and be like really transparent and really open, like to see yourself in one position of your life and everything is like kind of the way you want it, but you still have another goal. So I had two goals. Like I always wanted to work in film. So when I got
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to work for this company, I started from the grit and I had to work my way up.
Mm-hmm.
Then it still wasn't fulfilling. Like
Yeah.
I'm more of a creative person, so the
Mm-hmm.
department I was in wasn't really creative.
Mm-hmm.
It got me the opportunity to like to be out in the world and meet a lot of people. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as like me, because I'm like an artist, I like to draw and I like to do stuff.
Yeah.
And the door wasn't really open as far as those part of the business in that area. Like
Yeah.
it was already fulfilled. Or if it was layoffs, it was like a massive layoff in that department. So it was like, okay, let me stay here because it's secure and I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I built a clothing brand.
Mm-hmm.
It was just off of whim because one of my closest friends. started working at the job, and we didn't even know we was both working there. We just came across each other like walking through the hall.
Mm-hmm.
And he always had like a side hustle where he would sell clothes, tennis shoes, and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I would love some extra cash. Let me sell, some shoes. So he brought me
Yeah.
in, and then the crazy part, like I said, we knew each other. We knew each other, and we knew almost the same people in our
Mm-hmm.
circle. So before I can even get to them to sell the shoes, they already bought shoes from him. So
That's awesome.
so I had all these packs of shoes in my room, and I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? But then it became, okay, how can I make this more creative? And
Yeah.
then I started designing T-shirts that matched the colorway of the shirts. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, of the shoes. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started putting crazy sayings on the T-shirts and stuff like that. So that's what like drew me into the clothing game. And then trying to like really do that at the same time I'm working at the job,
Yeah.
multiple hours. You gotta like I'm working in finance,
Oh yeah.
so I got
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta close out quarterly projects and get money in and all this other stuff, and then I'm going home and trying to stay up to like 5 o'clock in the morning to be creative,
Yeah.
and then I'm the marketing person, I'm the developer, I'm doing everything,
Yeah.
and then um the door closed at Lionsgate. They finally let me go.
Yeah.
But then the process of them letting me go really pushed me to go out there and say, okay, now I don't have this other secureness. Now I got to make this clothing business really take off. So I created some designs, got some people to wear it. Right before that, that's when the police brutality stuff things started happening and became really massive. I created a shirt. One of the NBA players wore it through the All Star weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then that took off. I did my first fashion show. Had a lot of people there. Was on the news, but then it still wasn't enough to like really make a livelihood out of it.
Right.
So then my wife, my lady, with my wife now, she brought it up, and it wasn't the first time I heard this. It was the second time I'm hearing this, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's massive, like years later. So I'm like, okay, and it's almost the same layout of the way it was presented to me the first time, but now it's presented to me by somebody else with almost the same kind of delivery. So I'm like, okay, somebody's upstairs or whoever, the
Yeah.
energy of the world is
Yeah.
telling me,
The
I
universe
yeah, I need to
just go
do
cut
this.
hair.
But then, like I said, then COVID hit, everything shut down.
Yeah, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought the universe was telling me to do this, not fucking slap it back in my face. Like,
Yeah,
what
so
am I supposed to do?
it's been a crazy roller coaster, but I honestly can say I enjoy it. I love it. I'm still developing myself. I can't really say I'm where I really want to be, as far as like in the industry, as far as like having like that revolving door of clientele coming in. I'm still getting myself out there. People still like learning my craft. And then when they do come to me, they be like, "Oh wow, like you really do this that I didn't ever get when I was going here." So
Yeah.
I do give them a experience. So it's now just trying to trickle that to more people, more income and stuff like that. So I'm still on that level.
So you,
But
so if you were in school in COVID, that was 2019. So you've been a barber then for what, like 4 years,
yes,
5 years?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like four, yeah,
It's still
yeah,
early, man. It's still
yeah.
early. I mean, I, I love it though. I love that story. And that whole story vibes with me. Like, I spent my 20, how old are you now?
I'm 43.
Okay. I'm 37. So I spent, spent my 20s figuring it out. I had a record label. I learned how to not run a business. I put
Yeah,
out vinyl records
yeah,
and it was going great till two bad records in a row. And then I'm 23 and I owe $30,000 to four different credit card companies. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I went into marketing because it's what my mom did and I was good at it.
yeah,
And I got into an agent's, I graduated school in like 2010 when there were no jobs. So I kind of grinded it out for a
yeah,
year, did
yeah,
my own thing. So I was working the day job at the agency, trying to do my record label at night. I was like, this is my passion. But again, like you got to make enough money to pay and
yeah, yeah,
there was something about hair that like when I was 18, I was like, man, I just want to go cut hair. But there, I didn't even know the difference between a barber and a stylist, you know,
Right.
because the barbering hadn't really seen its resurgence yet, you know. And I'd sit there in my agencies, and I did 2 years at a tech startup, which is where I learned about software and how software is built,
Yeah.
how it starts out small and you grow, and you know, I did 2 years there, and you know, and then I went back to another agency. But the whole time I'm like, man, I just wish I was cutting hair right now. I'm sitting there on the computer 10 hours a day just staring. I was like, something about the universe is like, I just want to cut hair. I just want to cut hair. And my now wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I remember going out to eat with her. Every time we go out to eat, I'd be like, man, I want to go cut hair and open a barber shop and do all this stuff. And she's like, I think after like a year of dating, she's like, will you just go to barber school already? You hate your job. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go, you know. But I had, you know, you got bills, you know. By the time I was 29 when I went, like there were bills, there were like,
Yeah.
you know, I remember I get in, we're lucky in New York, you know. I know you guys are what, like 1,400 hours, I think it is,
Yeah.
for the barber program. Bro,
Yeah.
we're like 650 hours. It's 4.5 months and we're
I think
out
it's
of there.
18, honestly.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
insane, dude. I have a couple other friends in California that cut. I can't remember the numbers, but
Yeah. But I think
I
it,
got,
I think it
yeah,
has
no, go
changed
ahead.
because they cut the program where as far as like you don't have to do the practical, you can just do like the test. So I think
Oh,
the
okay.
hourlies might be a little bit different now.
Bro, post
Yeah.
COVID in New York, the kids coming out now, they're doing their test on a mannequin. There was never no written test. They're literally doing their test on a mannequin, their state board. Like they don't have to worry about all the shaving and the different directions. Like they're
That's
pretending on a man
that's
now. Like
crazy.
this is weird. Come on. Um, you know, but I get out of school, and you know, when I was in school, so this was, you know, eight years ago, you know, there was no Instagram celebrity barbers. There was, I mean, dude, we had like
Yeah.
Pacino's DVDs. Like
Yeah.
our teacher was showing us the Pacino's
Yeah.
DVDs. They're like, this is the guy,
Yeah.
you know. But I came out, and but I'll tell you what, barbers were still talking shit back then. You know, I was getting out of school. Kids were like, "Yo, I heard you're not cutting full time after school." I was like, "Dude, I got a mortgage to pay. I got to make some dough."
Yeah.
So I went back and had a day job, and I did what I tell nobody to do. I started a shop out of school. I couldn't find anywhere to cut within 10 minutes of my house. I literally rented a closet in an old factory, like 200 square
Yeah.
feet, basement of a factory. I was like, I can go cut my buddies down there after work.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So I was working 8 to 5 day job. I went back and was working a marketing job.
Yeah.
And then from 5 to 11 at night, I was cutting hair, growing that client base, learning how to cut. You know, I wish I had been in a shop so I had someone to learn from. But you know, it's a grind, and I think it's a disservice that our industry does, where we put some of the aspirational things on a pedestal, like the cars and the 100K.
Yeah.
Bro, when I came out, I was charging $15 for a haircut. I'd have to do, like, you know, it takes time,
Yeah.
you know, it takes time, and it's always a grind. And I think, but the beautiful thing about our industry is that you can make it whatever you want, and whatever you put in, you can get that out in return, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know, I don't know. Just to close my first statement, I'm proud of you, and I think it's awesome to see where you're at in your
Thank
journey.
you.
And we're gonna timestamp this now. I don't know if it's gonna happen next year. I don't know if it's gonna happen 3 years from now. But like, Talk Your Barber Shit is the best branded barber conversational show. You know, I used to do work for BMW in marketing. Like, bro, Talk Your Barber Shit is top notch because it says so much about us
Yeah.
without saying anything. And I love it. I think it was, and that's why when I saw you pop up in my algorithm, I was like, who's this dude? What is this Talk Your Barber Shit? This is it, man. This is
Yeah.
it, you know? Um,
No,
so
I mean,
yeah.
deeply, that means a lot. Like it just came out of nowhere. It honestly came from COVID because me and my classmates were like unaware about what was going on. Like our teacher, the school committee, lady that was running the program, she just called and was like, everything shutting down. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen to your hours. We just hope that in due time or whatever that we can, open back up and
Yeah.
then you guys can continue. So we was on like Instagram and we was like DM each other like, okay, what's going on? Did you hear anything?
Yeah.
What's going on over here? And then I just like just start going on live with different people of like what they're experiencing and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just took place from there. Like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's beautiful though, and you
yeah,
keep doing it, man. It's our industry needs authentic conversational content about what's going on and how, yeah, you can make six figures as a barber, but like, yo, you gotta grind it out.
yeah,
Like you got nobody's gonna come in and hand you a six-figure book,
yeah.
because you're laying, even if you're throwing down the blurriest fades of all time,
Right.
no one is gonna come hand you a six-figure book. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
yes,
I think I love it, man. I love it. But yeah, that's my kind of origin story in a nutshell.
yeah,
So how we get to the higher booking portion of the story is, I'm well, I guess it's got to start with COVID because I did appointments when I started 8 years ago in my shop because I could only be there at night. So I was appointment only since the beginning.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I just couldn't afford to sit around and wait for walk-ins. It just is how it worked. Um, COVID hit. I moved out of my basement. Literally, I kid you not. I signed a real lease. We got chairs. I had six stations, bro. 3 weeks before COVID hit, we moved in that shop. And same with you, New York shut down. 6 months of just, and there we were putting, when we finally could reopen, it was like you can only have two barbers with masks on and you got to follow
right.
these lines. Like,
Yeah,
bro, it was like, it was a wild time,
yeah,
but we got through it. We get the shop going, and thankfully it's where it needs to be today. So it was probably about at this point 4 years, 5 years into my barbering journey, and there was just something inside that I kept looking at different software and different programs and saying, "Oh man, I wish it did this," or "Why doesn't it work
yeah,
like this?"
yeah,
Or
yeah,
this is interesting. This doesn't feel like this was designed by somebody who's ever held a pair of clippers before. And because I spent 2 years at a software company,
hmm
um, knowing what it takes, what software is capable of, how these things are built, I start digging in. I'm like, man, this isn't really hitting. But again, like going to barber school is this idea that gets in the back of my head that's like, no, I don't want to. My life's great now. I show up, I cut hair, I don't have to send an email. Nobody's asking to hop on a Zoom to talk about their haircut. Like it's done.
right.
And I'm paid and I'm loving life. But like, man, it was just in the back of my head. A year goes by, 2 years go by, and then like, using one provider and something breaks and I get frustrated and I have, and then eventually it was just like, I, again, the universe was like, you got to go do this thing now. Like this, I'm not the best guy. I'm not the best guy at cutting hair. In my shop, all my other guys are better. I just like, I'm good. I'm okay. I can cut, but like being the best barber from a technical skill perspective, opening 20 barbershops, opening a school, I really felt deep down how I could move our entire industry forward
hmm
is if I tackled the software.
hmm
And I'm one of two people I know that has worked at a software startup and has been a
hmm
barber. And the other one's a great guy, Barber Doza. He's in California as well. If anybody sees this and wants to look him up, him and I have been in touch and talked about some stuff. Good dude. So I said, I got to do it. I got to build it. So, you know, how these software companies are normally built is you pitch an idea to investors, you get them a bunch of money to go build the idea, you report back to the investors. I'm a punk dude at heart, man. Like that whole idea and that scene, I was just like, I don't know if that can be me. So I kind of looked at it like a band. Like I called the boys. Like I just called the team, I called some of the guys I used to work with, one of my best friends who shoots video content. And then my co-founder of the company, he's actually one of my clients. I've been cutting his hair for 5 or 6 years before we went into business together. He's the code guy. I can't make any code. He does that.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
runs that whole side of the business. I mean, all right, I can look at some code, maybe move stuff around. He doesn't let me touch shit. I'm not allowed to. I'm locked out of that. I don't have the keys to that part of the platform.
Yeah.
And we got some other guys. We got, our creative director, this guy Jeremy Dean out of Philly. He's a punk dude who, when I was looking at the brand, I'd sketched some stuff like higher booking, like we're gonna take this to a higher level. I drew the kind of Illuminati eye. I sent it to my buddy Jeremy, so he came up with our whole branding. Because to me, I wanted the brand to be something that I would wear as a barber in the shop and say like, oh, yo, that looks good. What is that? I didn't want it to be like a software company. Like I feel like there's enough of that in the world. And like you, I love t-shirts, I love design, the whole thing. So that was really important. So yeah, man, I got the band together and we were just like, yeah, we're gonna go build this thing. Like nobody wrote me $1 million check. I'm not, I wish I was a trust fund kid, but I'm not. There was no, hey, here's 2 million to go start your business. So we just started building, man.
Yeah.
Um, and we incorporated October of last year. And we just announced a couple weeks ago that we have a core beta.
Okay.
Um, I'm completely transparent in this process. It's early. Our software is basic. It books haircuts. I've been using it for about 4 or 5 months. We have 20 users right now in the platform.
Yeah.
What I'm excited about is this work in the last year was laying the foundation to build upon. So here's groundwork, here's database work, here's account structure work, here's this. I've got a 30-page manifesto of what we can build and features and dialing it in. But yeah, that's kind of the brief 5-minute overview of the origins of how this whole thing got started. And you and I are here talking today, I guess.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I love the concept. I love the name of it, higher booking. Um, what would you say to those that will see this video in the future and tune in and
Mm-hmm.
watch it?
Mm-hmm.
What would separate you from the other bookings that's already out there? What, like you said, I know it's new, it's fresh. You
Yeah.
still by tweaking a lot of things, but just off a set right now that someone would look at it and go, "Oh, I do like this feature. It's really different from that. I might want to try this," and maybe just hold on to those until they really get it really going.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this right now. What
Mm-hmm.
is that it's kind of shared?
And this, I think, thinking about the sales pitch and how I talk about this and how I talk about competition, I think there's room for all sorts of software. We're
Hmm.
at a point with barbering where we have, I'm still a magic clip guy, but there is like the new kids in the shop, man. I'm looking at their tools, like
Yeah,
trying out the
there's
T-Pobs,
so
like
many.
those are gas, bro. It's gas.
Yeah.
So I think there is room for us to play.
Mhm.
There's 300,000 barbers in the U.S.
Yeah.
alone. There's more, for us to find our niche.
Yeah.
What I will tell you is that how we as a company are approaching this is one, it's it's designed, majority owned, and co-founded by someone who's cut hair.
Okay.
And when we're looking at it from the beginning of everything from a shop, from accounts, how accounts are structured, to how timing works and how payments work and all those things, I'm looking at it as a barber, a shop owner, and I think there's an opportunity if we look at barbering as a trade. And I know we could get into, I've had long conversations. Is it a trade? Is it art? But if we can say it's a trade for 2 seconds and hold on with me.
Yeah, I feel you because I come from the corporate world, so I agree on both standpoints. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But if we can say it's a trade,
yeah.
I'm looking at this as like a tool that us tradespeople, um, need
Mhm.
to run our book, help us save time, make more money, and let technology work for us. Um, Tweaking things to that component. And with that in mind, um, this idea of community-driven roadmap. So the idea of community-driven roadmap is I have a feature idea for how I think cancellation should work. And if anybody wants to hear my theory on it, I'm not going to put it published on the web right now, but I'll hop on a FaceTime and walk through my entire theory on that.
Okay.
How I plan to attack that, and we have planned to attack that as a company, say, hey, we're working on cancellations. Maybe I send you a message, say, hey, you got any ideas on cancellations? I want to see how you're doing it in LA versus us in New York. We work together as a group. I put my best effort out there, get some feedback from our first users, and then we roll that feature out. Also, community-driven roadmap, we can say, hey, we have these 3 things I want to work on next, as in terms of features, new feature sets, whatever it is. Maybe it's automating commission for commission shops or something, or it's cancellations or something else. We can vote on it. What do you guys want us to do next? It's going to take us 4 or 5 weeks to do these 3 features. What do we want? What's going to move the needle the most for you tomorrow? And those that are using it, we can work together on it. And I think the biggest differentiator, to answer your question short, is like, I'm a barber. I'm a barber first. Like, you know what I mean? So
Let
I
me
think, go
let me
ahead.
ask
Yeah.
you this. I find this. I'm dealing with this a lot, especially now. I know we in the era of like everything is in our hand. Computer
Yeah.
access to whatever we need
Yeah.
is right in front. It's right in our hands. But you also have, um, our older clientele that are
Mm-hmm.
still uncomfortable with using the internet, using computers, putting their information and logging their card in. And then you have people that are like our age or a little bit younger or whatever, but they don't like booking with the app. They want to call you first. They're like, hey, you got any openings? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just gave you multiple times where you could go and check my availability, but they still want to text you and say, hey, do you got any available? How do you feel like when we have like all these apps and stuff and we have clientele that deal with
Yeah.
it? I know we say if we got those type of clientele, we don't want to deal with them. Like,
Yeah. That's,
I understand that, but these are maybe clientels that we build in the
yeah.
beginning, or not even in the beginning, in the mix, and they do come on a regular basis, but they just like honestly, they don't just know how to follow detailed directions, but they're reliable.
Yeah. I think I want to talk about 2 parts of that question. The first
Yeah.
part, I am old enough like you to remember there was a time in our life where our moms said, do not tell anyone on the internet your name. Do not tell them where you fucking
Yeah.
live. Like, do you remember that? I remember that
Yeah.
clear when the first said she's like, don't tell. Like, now we put it all out there. We let people know when we're on vacation. So like,
Right.
I remember that time.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a couple things there. We currently have no plans to have a downloadable customer facing app. So what I mean by that is if let's say you're using Hire Booking yourself to manage your book,
Mhm.
I do not have plans for your customer to download a Hire Booking app to book with you.
Okay.
That's a philosophical thing that me as a shop owner and feedback I've heard from my customers and looking in the industry, like I don't think there's a need for that
Mhm.
right now today. May change my mind next year, 3 years from now, we may have a need for that. So I think that eliminates a barrier. Forcing someone to download an app just to book with you, I think is something we can do to eliminate that first barrier. Our methodology for sign on for booking is single passcodes via text message. So hopefully you're not creating another username and password. You're forgetting the password. I think that's where people can get held up. But I think, this is why I love bringing in people with different perspectives early on in the journey, because you're bringing up something, honestly, I hadn't thought of that. There's a lot in my manifesto of what I want to build, but I haven't thought of that. Like, what do we do for 5%, 2%, 1.5% of clients that don't want to book online? How could we make that better? I don't
I
know. Maybe they text. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I didn't mean to cut you.
No,
I
you're good.
have been told that even okay, I use a lot. I when I first I was using Cut the Cut app. I was using Square. I mean Esquire, and then I think I used. But I'm pretty mostly been going back to Booksy. But
Okay, yeah,
what I noticed that people don't like about Booksy is that even if I send them my copy link for them to go book, once you go to the site, you have to download the app, and then it shows you like multiple other layers before it finally gets to
yeah,
your your booking for them to book it. So they got to scroll through everything, untag this, untag that, and then finally get to my site where they can book me. And that's
right,
for
yeah,
every like once they sign up and they log it or they download the app, then they can book me. However, but just the first initiative, they got to go through
yeah,
all these ton of ways to even get to. Oh, okay, now I can book them, and sometimes that can
yeah,
be very frustrating if. So I just send them a link and they be like, okay, well now I can just book it, and then they got to go through all these channels,
yeah.
and then it's like, okay, I don't even want to book no more.
Or they're just sitting in a Taco Bell
Yeah,
parking lot with shitty internet service trying to download some app to get a haircut. And
yeah,
then they see a shop across the street like, ah,
yeah,
sorry, dude.
yeah.
Peace out. This is too much. I'm finishing my cheesy gordita and I'm just going across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's multiple facets of my philosophy on hire booking. I think it's three things. Four things. One, um, making sure the customers, so not you as hire booking customers, but your customers have a seamless experience. And I would put that in that bucket. Like, how do we test that? How do we make sure it's easy? Can my grandfather book a haircut? You know what I mean? Things like
Yeah.
that. Um, Two is supporting, and I'm speaking of, booth rent shops, supporting the um, symbiotic relationship that is a barber shop. As much as we don't want to, like, as much as the shop owner calls the shots or whatever, and we're really all working together as independent businesses to do our thing. So how do we support that independence? But how do we still make it a seamless experience for your client, because they don't give a shit about how our business is run. They don't give a shit that you manage your own money. If I got a problem, I'm going to the shop owner. So how do we make that succinct and work? Um, Three would be helping barbers save time, and four is help them make more money. I mean, at the end of the day, it's very simple. And if I just keep on those kind of pillars, I think we'll do okay. But I love that you brought up for the people that don't want to book, like, how do we make that as easy as possible? Like,
So
I think it's a great point.
so is higher booking more for the barber shop or is it more for the barber per se?
Mm. Today, it would be for the barber where we're
Okay.
at today. We don't have shop admin privilege type things. Like, you just sign up, you have your account, you have a link, and people can book with you. It's basic.
Okay.
Um, where we take it depends on who's using it and where we want to go on the journey. At some point, we will have all those features and it will work for shops, and we will have commission, type situations where it's, the money's flowing different. Um, the good thing is like, we're all here. My team's here. We can build whatever we want. We can build wherever we want to take this. And I think that's the exciting thing about it.
So for yourself, and if I'm gonna make sure I got this correct, you've been a barber for 8 years.
Yeah, 7 to 8 or 8 going on 9. I don't know. It's 8:30 here. My math's a little fuzzy right now, but yeah, yeah.
So reason I ask that is and for me and seeing the elevation of barbering from what I was so accustomed to as a
Mhm.
kid, and now being in the world of hairstyling and beauty and barbering.
Yeah.
Um, and being right in the core of it, you see so many differing layers of love and hate at the same time. So it's like, so many people, especially after COVID, are so upset about the elevation of pricing. They're
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
they're
Are you
so
are you talking about barbers being upset or the customers?
customers. then you have barbers being upset about the new structure of the barbershop.
Right.
How, everything is really, I don't know how it is for you in New York and
Yeah.
how it's still flowing, but I know for myself and I've seen so far in LA, a lot of shops before COVID were open. A lot of shops closed
Yeah.
after because they didn't have their structure in order.
Yeah.
And then now you're seeing a lot of shops um, with social media. They have to really go online and really dance and play and do a whole whole bunch of videos. Like, you got to push some content
Yeah.
to really draw people in now, because people are not just driving to a barbershop and sitting there for hours to
Yeah.
watch a barber and be like, okay, he might be my future barber.
Yeah.
No, they don't have to do that no more. So if you're not
Yeah.
in the social media world or YouTube and really putting yourself out there, it's really different nowadays. So how do you feel, being in the game for 8 years, seeing
Yeah.
everything? And I know from what you've shown me and what you're telling me, you're finding your way in the barber game. You might still love cutting and being
Oh
in the
yeah.
shop,
Yeah.
but it's like now I'm transitioning to develop something where I don't have to be in the
Yeah.
shop. So what is it that you have noticed in the 8 years that said, oh yeah, it's time for me to develop something else?
Uh, uh, again, if tomorrow higher booking stopped and I went back and was just cutting hair, I'm happy.
Mhm.
It's more for me getting into higher booking was not so I didn't have to cut hair.
Okay.
It was me saying, how can I make the biggest impact on our industry and leave a legacy that I'm proud of?
Yeah.
And it was my wife. She, when I was debating on doing this, she's like, well, what are you going to do? Just open up 3 barber shops in New York and that's it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, bet. Okay. I guess I'm going this direction now because she knows I always want to, I'm swinging for, I mean, this is a big undertaking. I'm swinging for a big thing, something that could help impact the entire industry. Um, so yeah, it wasn't that I didn't want to cut. This is just where the universe is
Yeah.
taking me, in terms of that, where we're at in the social media and driving clients to the shop and what I'm seeing, and my hypothesis is that we have seen a pendulum where now it was like the Instagram barber was kind of coming out as, and now it's just over here.
Yeah.
Um, my and if you can do that and you're good at that and it's driving client base for you, I'm proud. I'm nothing but love for anybody that's finding their way in barbering and enjoying it and doing their thing. For those that don't want to be on camera and do the song and dance, as you so, I saw that smile on your face when you mentioned that. So I think, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I got, there's guys in my shop they're booked out. They're making really good money. They're happy. They post on their social grid once a year, maybe. And I think the key for them and for us as a shop has to been, it goes back to community. It goes back to what barbershops used to be. It goes back to sponsoring little league teams. It goes back to it being involved in the community. And that could be as simple as finding your local Facebook mom group. I know every city's got one. I know every section of every city's got one. That group that mom goes to find sports, to find this, to find that. I tell new kids coming out of the game, I said, go there, give away haircuts on a Tuesday or Wednesday when you're sitting there scrolling on Instagram. Be like, you know what? $5 kids cuts all day. First come, first serve. Let's go.
Mhm.
Giving back to the community. Go another. You want to make a couple $100 a day getting out of barber school? Go cut at a nursing home. Every nursing home needs a barber. If you have a license and you can show up and you're not intoxicated while you're there,
Right.
it's gonna be the easiest haircuts you ever done. You're gonna leave with a check. and you're back in the community because you know what? That person in the nursing home's gonna tell their son or daughter that you came and he's at a shop. I mean, you just have to get yourself out there. And at the end of the day, like I'm gonna sound like an OG barber here, but like sometimes you got to just go cut hair. Like you know what I mean? Like if there's a football team, like go talk to the high school football coach, be like, yo, I'm gonna come cut up the team for back to school. No charge. I'm just gonna come and do it. You will get so much more leverage in just giving back and being part of the community, which I think as the pendulum has swung,
I love
we
that.
have lost that a little bit.
I love that you said that. You know what's funny? You just like reassured everything that I was already thinking because I was already on that mix because I've been I was driving home one day and I went past my old elementary school and I was like, man, I should just go up there and tell them, because I relocated back to my old neighborhood. I
Oh,
used to,
okay. You move. Yeah, moving's tough when you're a barber, man. It's like it's a big thing.
yeah, I used to, I don't know how familiar you are with Los Angeles, but I used to stay in Venice where it's closer to the beach area. So I was kind
Mm-hmm.
of away from like Inglewood where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
But me and my wife just bought a home and we're closer now. So I was like, okay, let me reach out to my old high school, let them know I'm a barber in the
Yeah.
area. Let them know that, if they got some students that need a haircut, they can come to the shop. But I was thinking about, maybe doing like Tuesday alumni free haircut day and yeah,
If
and then go to, yeah.
it,
So
if bro, and every barber likes to get on Instagram and say how booked they are every day, but you go on a Tuesday in the middle of
yeah.
February, bro, it's like
Yeah.
it's I mean, unless you've been in it 6, 7 years and you have those dedicated clients and you're back to back to back, but like it's the middle of February, especially up here when it's 15 degrees out. It's like I don't know if I want to drive to the shop right now.
It was
You know.
definitely one thing that I got a chance to check out. I was going through your videos and making sure that I could ask the right questions
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you, stuff like that.
yeah.
I love one thing that you. I mean, I love multiple things, but this was one that like stood out to me the most. You. I'm gonna start with this one, and I'm gonna go back to the other one
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah.
But the one you was like, you should go to your barbershop at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Dude,
Can you
I
elaborate?
mean,
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
so I mean, I had to kind of hack my way to a client base. I was the when I say I was cutting in a basement, like you had to go through a door.
Yeah,
There's an alarm going off from some smoke alarm thing that just goes off all the time. It's a dungeon basically.
yeah,
But because I knew marketing, I was like, well, I can do a Facebook ad. So I threw up a Facebook ad. Um, but then I also said, like, I have to be available when no one else
yeah.
is. Because that's when you're starting out and you want to build that client base, like, you have to be available when no one else is. And the easiest one was Monday. Every barbershop within 45 minutes was closed on Monday, I said. And this is when I made the transition to barbering full time and was able to quit my job. I was like, I'm just going to cut Monday. And Monday was my longest, busiest day. I'd go in at 8 in the morning and I'd leave at 10 at night. And it was just back to back on
I'm
Monday.
sorry. I'm gonna let you finish this,
No,
but
no, no. Go
you know,
ahead.
I love that you said I'm gonna take the initiative to cut on Monday, but it's how you structure that because you have some barber owners that don't want nobody in their shop on a Sunday and Monday because what the elevation or whatever process took place for they to say like, okay, Tuesday through Saturday is work
Yeah,
day, and then Monday and Sunday is off day.
yeah,
So a lot of that formula stuck with a lot of
yeah,
barbershops.
yeah,
But now, if you say, "Hey, do you mind if I want to work on a Sunday? Do you mind if I could be here on a Monday?" Some might say, "Yes, okay," and some might be like, well, no, because I got to pay for the overhead. I got to pay for the lights. I got to pay for you running water and all that stuff like that. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so, how would you say if someone can't work on the shop on a Monday, how would they bypass that? And what would ideas would you give them to feel like this is another way that you can kind of still develop yourself?
I mean, I'm the type of person that when someone tells me no, I'm like, bet, hold my beer, and it's just like I figure it out. So I mean, if I was in a shop and I couldn't cut on Sunday and Monday, but I wanted to grind. The nursing home is a good one. I would honestly go to every other shop, be like, hey, can I rent a chair on Sunday, Monday? I mean, if you're truly a renter and you're in a, and this is something in our industry that we don't talk about, but like if you're in a chair rental agreement, you're renting that chair, right? Like you're supposed to run your own business. You're supposed to be able to make your own hours. You're supposed to be able to set your own prices. But a lot of the times shop owners, will say, well, yeah, this is a booth rent shop, but you have to be here at this time. You have to charge this price. I know of lawsuits. California is notorious for people suing shop owners over that. Um, maybe it's time to start looking for another shop. I don't, it's tough. I hate to say it, but it's like, it's tough. I think one of the biggest missteps out of school is not spending the time to find the right vibe for you to land in. Cause you always see it.
I like
You
that.
leave school, you
Yeah.
try that this shop's doing the blurriest fades. I'm going to go cut there. But what they don't do is they don't sit there on a Friday or a Saturday when it's busy. Watch how the shop owner acts. Watch what they're doing. Watch their body language. Watch if all the barbers are talking shit about everybody else in the shop.
Right.
Um, and the other thing too, where's the shop owner put their chair? That to me, is it chair number one or is it the chair in the back? And I'll tell you, my chair is in the back.
Yeah.
A lot of people come in my shop, they're like, who owns this joint? I'm like, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, or is it the shop owner that's the star of the show?
Yeah.
It's a different mentality, and neither one is right or wrong. And I don't want to think I'm dunking on which one is right or wrong, but barbers just need to what works for them and find the right vibe and find the right fit. Because honestly, in a lot of areas, you can throw a stone and hit 3 barbershops. Just whatever you do, don't go to a suite after school because you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what kind of lease you're signing. So don't go to a suite after school.
Man, you're gonna have so many people looking at that one part you said right there and be like, who is this guy? What is he talking about? Because the wave on I don't need to be in a barber shop anymore is like people are going to war about you saying that you need to develop yourself in a barbershop.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I'm the guy to be saying it. I basically went to a suite after barber school,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna talk out of one side and out of the other.
Yeah.
My point of that is not so like I see both sides of that argument.
Yeah.
My biggest concern, you can go on YouTube and learn how to be an incredible barber. You can take a class and learn how to be an incredible barber. What I think the barber shop teaches, though, is responsibility. It teaches accountability. It teaches how to work with other people. And I think it gives you the best opportunity to grow a client base out of school.
Yeah.
The thing I have seen with suites, not just new barbers, but experienced barbers, is when you sign a suite, that deal is coming from some big private equity firm and you're signing paperwork that is this thick.
Yeah.
And I see all these stories of, hey, I signed this. You just signed a 5 or 6 year lease on a property. And the person that owns that property doesn't even live here. They're,
You can answer that if you want to.
but you can't go on YouTube and be successful. I don't know. I know some introvert barbers that don't like talking to anybody, but how long have I been in business? I've been in business 8 years. No, I'm interested to see why you can't go on YouTube and be successful.
Right.
I mean, all I had was Pacino's DVD when I started. Like there was just one system. Now you
You
have,
have everything.
infinite
You could,
systems.
yeah. You could
Um,
search anything, and now you got Chat GPT. You can write your whole category, your log.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So I see both, but on the same side, like if you're one of those barbers that wants to put out the blurriest fade and wants to have a private space to shoot content, to be creative, and that's for your client, like go for a suite. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And if you can do it without being in a barbershop, that's great too. You know, I see there's so many roads. What I just try to do being in the game is say, hey, this is a pitfall I see. Biggest pitfall of suites is you're signing a lease that you don't know what's in that. Um, I feel every barber should have a great attorney client and make friends with that attorney and give them free haircuts and have them look over your shit before you sign it.
The craziest thing that I saw not too long ago was I was in Marina Del Rey,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a Phoenix Salon suite that been
Mm-hmm.
there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about, maybe giving me a spot in there.
They look nice when you go and tour. They're
Yeah,
nice.
and especially if you have your idea of how you want to develop it. Make a long story short, I get like I'm scrolling through my Instagram and I see a young lady on there, heartbroken, crying because she's been at this location for years and they didn't let nobody know that the funds that they, because you got to pay you at your
Oh yeah.
yeah, that the funds that they was giving them to keep the location wasn't being taken care of, and everybody had to relocate and find a
Oh.
yeah.
And they probably signed something in the lease that says we can do whatever we want with this lease if we need to. Good luck. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, those are the kind of agreements you sign with big companies versus, but yeah, I see both sides of it. I think I see a lot of debate around it.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know. I
I think I
think
agree.
I think be
I, I
yeah.
definitely agree in one standpoint. Like I said, for those, like you said, and this is what the platform is about: educational conversation.
Yeah.
If you could take it for however you want to take it, and use it however you want to use it. But for myself, like I know for myself, when I came out of school, I wanted to develop myself in the shop first. I wanted to get the shop experience. Maybe someone doesn't really need the shop experience.
Yeah.
Maybe they already have clientele. I know when I was at school, it was a young guy that was there. He was having revolving customers coming to the school.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he
Yeah.
tell them to pay the little $5 for the cut, and he'll get his little cut off of it. But he'll have them come
Yeah.
come to the
Yeah.
shop. So once he left, he could go get a suite.
Yeah.
If you don't
Of
have
course.
that customer service, you don't have that customer clientele,
Yeah.
you trying to go into a suite with nothing labeling that this is a shop, a barber shop,
Yeah.
labeling what you can do, show what you can do, and you got to do all that marketing, all that advertisement on your own,
Yeah.
and you don't know how to do it. Yes, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be very hard, like a hard pain to you. You're not going to really establish yourself right away, and you're going to have to really, like you said, maybe get another job while you're trying to build
Yeah.
your career as a barber at the same time.
That
But for
actually
those, but for those that have it and they can do
go
it,
for
yeah, I'll,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't like talking to people. It sounds kind of nice to have a quiet little space to go cut hair. Like, you know what I mean? I get it. That reminds me of one thing you said in that video that I watched last night that you posted. Like, bro, I remember every single person in my life that came to school and sat there for 2 fucking hours as I figured out how to cut their hair. Like, those people hold such a special place in my heart. Like, my wife's uncle, the pastor at the church, like, my grandfather, like, those people that made the trip to school to come see you to get a haircut. Like, as you said, like, my boys were nowhere to be seen. It's like, guys, I cut hair now. And they're like, oh, yeah, bro. Like, one of my best friends, fucking Joe, man, that guy, he waited like a year till he came to see me. He waited a year, and I'll tell you what, when he showed up, I gave him the best haircut he's ever had in his life.
Yeah,
But he was like,
right.
"Yeah, bro, I couldn't come to you. I couldn't risk you jacking my shit up." I was like, I get it, you know." But like, do you find that too? Or there's those people that came to see you in school? You're
Yeah,
like, it just means so
yeah,
much, you know?
yeah, definitely. Like, I've been the people that even when I was in school and they still coming to me to this day.
Yeah,
Like, and I I could, you know how you can start seeing the transition of you getting better and better,
Yeah.
and you be like, and then you look back at the old photos, you be like, damn, I was really jacking this person up, and
Yeah,
but they
yeah,
just kept coming and being loyal, and it's like, okay,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's we don't talk, and this is why I love your content. Like, we don't talk enough about like the real shit on the journey,
yeah,
right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is, but what's so great about barbering is that you can come into it. The barrier to entry is relatively low, considering it's not 4 years of school and $180,000 in student loans.
yeah,
There's
right,
I mean, I still got like 2K on my barber student loan, but that's another story, you know.
yeah,
Uh but like uh you can do what you want. If you want to open 9 barbershops, you can. If you want to go teach, you can do it. If you want to be an Instagram rock star, you can do it. If you want to go open the suite and charge $300 a haircut, like, you can do it. And like, I think we just, and this is why like people like you are so important to our industry, to just be like, that's all okay. It's all okay. If you're happy and you're
yeah.
having fun, that's all okay. And I think sometimes we take it a little too
Too
seriously,
serious, too
and
serious.
we miss the, like, we're not in heart surgery.
Yeah.
We're cutting hair. Like, just let's just have some fun with it,
Because
you
we
know?
still have our grandfathers that's like still want to play the puppeteer to the game. Like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Why are you using spray cans? Why are you painting this? But it's what the customer loves. Like, yes, in your
Yeah.
time you didn't need to use that, or maybe
Yeah.
it was around, but maybe people didn't know of it at that time. Maybe they would have had asked for it if they knew about
Yeah.
that, yeah, a little bit sooner. But these are our this is the generation now, and this is what they look for, and this is what they feel. They don't want to see the thinning areas. They wanted you to spray
Mm-mm.
their hair. They want you to
Yeah,
put
or they want
enhancements.
to,
Yeah,
yeah, or go get SMP, or
yeah.
whatever. I mean,
They want
if you're having
they
fun with
want
it
the
and the cost,
units. Yeah.
yeah, if the customer's happy and you're happy providing that service, like, who are we to say, you got to do it this way because it's how it worked in my shop? Like, fuck, if it works for you, man, like, that just gets back to the whole, a bigger outlook on life. And I think there are others I've talked to in the industry like yourself that, like, see joy and peace and happiness in it. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a competition. It's honestly, at the end of the day, barbering is a competition against yourself,
Yeah.
you know. And
I
I'm
know.
37 now, and it's like, bro, if I had to do 10 fire skin fades back to back, or I could do some half to a two on the side with a little como, like, bro, give me that. The back is hurting by the end of the day, you know? That
Yeah.
back to school, I'm like, oh man, you know? So it's like, you gotta just go where it leads you and have fun with the journey. And maybe it leads you out. I see a lot of barbers that get into real estate. I think that's great. Diversify. Get out there, do something else, you know? But it's fun. Let's make it fun, you know?
Um, one thing that the other topic that I wanted to discuss with you that really I was thinking about it a lot myself too. It's like, going to these barber shows and feeling like, I don't know if you felt like that, but I know for me, going to a couple of them, I was like, yes, I understand the party atmosphere. Yeah, I understand the group of barbers coming together and competing. But what is it else to this that we're trying to give off?
Mm,
And I feel like for me per se, and I had a conversation with a couple barbers on my platform that maybe one day should be all about education.
mm,
And
mm,
then maybe the
mm.
next day, possible however they can set it up, can be the party atmosphere where we all gathering and high fiving each other and competing against
Yeah,
each other. But I feel like we're missing the most important part of like development and understanding school is important and
yeah,
understanding how to build customer service and stuff like that. Like now, like I was saying before, it's like, ooh, get online and, you know, shaking hands and dance and jiggle and that's
yeah, yeah,
what people are seeing now with our barber industry. And I think that's just why we're seeing so many backlash where, people like from platforms, sports channels, newscasters, NBA players, everybody want to say negative things about our industry because I don't think we carry it on our shoulders the way that we should carry it. Like we want to, like, yeah. So
Yeah, that's oh man, that kind of cuts deep. That's yeah, carry it on our shoulders. Oh man, there's a lot there to unpack. I mean, first of all, I'm sitting here at 9 o'clock at night drinking an Arnold Palmer, so I'm not like the party. And to be completely transparent, I'm a fake extrovert. I can go in the shop, I can get everybody going.
yeah,
Um, I mean, bro, it's almost my bedtime. I'm gonna go read about 2 pages on my third time through the Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to bed. So in terms of me commenting on that, um, it's just not me. I've never been a party guy. I've always been an introvert, kind of loner. Um, I think being able to celebrate and have fun and let loose, like for the people that want to do that, I think that's great. I think it's great. I think um I think the education is important. I think education outside of barbering is important for us. Financial literacy. Let's see more. I want to see more accountants. I want to see more attorneys. I want to see more people to show me how to stretch better so my knees aren't shot. I want to know which pair of old man, Nike Air Max or New Balance 574s I should be wearing. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like I went to a podiatrist, bro. I have a high arch foot, I found out at 37. He's like, yo, try this insert. I'm like, bro, this is game changer, man. Like I'm feeling good right now. So like I think I think there's a huge potential for the education to fill in some of those gaps. But if people want to let loose and have fun and compete, like I think that's great. It's never been me. I don't think it'll be me. But if people love it, like I don't think there's anything wrong with it. To your point though about hearing newscasters and celebrities, I forget who it was that was dunking on barbers and like I'd never pay more than $40 for haircuts. I don't remember who it was. I think there have been multiple in the last year or
there's
two.
been a lot of them. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a couple things because I was a barber pre-COVID, right? So like I had a couple years in the game before COVID. When we were told we weren't essential workers,
Yeah.
but everybody and their brother wanted a haircut so bad. I mean, I was getting hit up like, "Yo, can you come cut me?" In like New York, it was a $6,000 fine. Twice you lose your license. I was like, "Bro, I'm not playing. Sorry. Good
Yeah.
luck." Um, so I think it was a combination of that with this move to social media and this new barber kind of social media thing we've entered where other people looking at our industry, um, it's a little it I don't want to say weird. That's not the right term. It's there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance there, right? Because like I love my plumber. Shout out to Terry. I love like I
Right.
can cut hair. I can't fix shit in my house. So when we got in the house and they were like he was here like every other week for 2 months. Uh, Terry's not posting my shit on his Instagram. He's not like bro, check out this fire toilet I just changed, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. And he doesn't have all his other plumber friends commenting on that. So I think when other industries look at us as a trade, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is, I'm saying it's art and a
Yeah.
trade, and I think there's a combo there. There's a bit like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I think to your point, man, like figuring out how we carry that on our shoulders, I think it's important. And I think, but then you also on the other side, you have barbers cutting presidents, and you have,
Yeah.
I mean, there is I think my short answer, we are in the infancy of figuring out who we are as barbers and where we're taking it for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
We just lived through a transition.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out. Um, and I think you're right. I think we got to figure out how we carry that on our shoulders and what we want that to look like.
Man, we can go on, but I
Bro,
know,
we'll
like
do
you
it
said,
again anytime,
yeah,
anytime you want.
man, this is. I definitely still got some more questions for you, but we can go for hours and hours. But I just want to say, man, it was awesome. I definitely want to bring you back on so we can really
Yeah, man.
dig in more about your journey and also talk about maybe have some of your guys that work on higher booking and come aboard and we can really dig in and share this platform that you have going on and really get it out there. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for stopping by my page.
Yeah,
Me
Garcia, it's been,
yeah.
bro, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like we just touched the surface
yeah,
on
we
what
did.
we could go into, man. And
Yeah.
I gotta ask you a question. Would barbers want to talk to someone technical about software? Like, would they want to talk to, my co-founder who's a coder? Would that be interest? You think barbers would be interested in that to see how
I feel
from a
like the
technical perspective?
barber. I feel like the barber industry is opening a lot of doors for
Yeah.
like people to understand the possibility of like growth and it's like you said, it's a lot of people. Like I heard 360 Jeezy say, "I love being a barber. I love being at the shop." But he can he does content all day. He's
Yeah.
on YouTube. He's on his platforms. He go to these seminars and he speaks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I think it's showing that I don't just have to be behind a chair. I love being behind a chair, but it's
Yeah.
now so many openings and opportunities that I can develop myself and be more of who I want to be in this industry, and I don't have to be titled
Yeah.
to one. And like you said, like I'm a, some people consider themselves like an artist, where they could say, "I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
I can do that,"
Mm-hmm.
and when I put this painting together, you can see the beauty and the development of who I am, not just as a barber, but all across the board. So yeah, I think having you and your colleagues come aboard and chop it up. Maybe it will trigger somebody else to be like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, that what I was thinking about a few months
Yeah.
ago, they gave me the
Yeah.
opportunity to say, yeah, I can do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's anything I can ever do for you, let me know. If you ever need any marketing help, don't pay an agency to do it. I got guys that do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, um, anything I can do to help, man. I would love to do this live someday. I would love to sit down with you, like in a park, not up here because it's fucking cold, but somewhere in LA. We'll just sit in a park and talk barber shit for like 3 hours. I would love that.
uh
I had one question for you though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you um is your content only archived on YouTube or have you converted those to podcasts yet? Like, have you released those on the podcast platforms?
I have not developed the podcast platform just yet. I'm getting to it. I want to definitely make because what I wanted, honestly, my next I could say it's similar to this, but it's more in the shop. So I wanted to have where
Mm-hmm.
I go to the shops of these barbers, the owners or whoever, and then we sit and we chop it up in the shop. So it's gonna call
Yeah. Yeah.
in the shop times talk your barber shit.
Yeah.
So
No, that's awesome, man. I was just because I was gonna say your YouTube,
yeah.
you have an archive of gold in there. I mean, I'm scrolling back and it's like name. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's been at this. Like, even if you took that audio and just archived the audio, like release them as podcast, like, bro, I think you're sitting on a gold mine. Like, I love where you're
Yeah.
going, but you got a lot in there, man. And like, I think more people need to hear your love and vibe and positivity in our industry. And anything I can do to help amplify your voice, I want to help because I think it's great, man. And I just found out about you like a couple weeks ago. So
It's a couple of stuff trickling in. Let me check it out before it logs off. We got the hair. We have salon cutting classes start this week. Like, okay, come to my barbershop. Let me talk some shit. Okay, we got it. Just hit me up in my DM and we make something work. Uh, but yeah, yeah. I definitely, I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm still trying to see like what's the best platform where I can take the archive from that
yeah,
videos and transfer and develop it and
yeah,
let people like just tune in and listen
Just
on the way to
let
work.
ChatGTP
Yeah,
figure it out
yeah,
for you, man. Just
yeah,
that,
yeah,
just
yeah.
ask the mothership what we should do.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, peace and love to you, man. I really appreciate the time and allowing me to tell our story a little bit. And bro, anytime you need a filler that you're like, yo, I need somebody that can talk for barbership for an hour,
I hope I
you
gave
shoot
you
me a DM, man.
I hope I gave you the platform to really show who you are,
Yeah, man.
what your platform is about. Because, like I said, I'm gonna be archiving this all on
Yeah.
on Instagram and on YouTube.
And
Chopping it
I
up.
time marked it. I
Yeah,
said we're gonna come back to this like three
yeah,
years from now, and you're gonna be like, we're gonna be like, man, we got like 20 views on that Kyle video, but now it's just
right.
like it's gonna be awesome, man. I'm wishing you and your wife, your family, nothing but the best, man. I appreciate
All
it.
right, we gonna get back to it, man. Have a great one and get
Yeah,
some rest.
yeah. Thank you.
All
Take care,
right, man.
buddy.
All right, man.